wonderful!
Hello again, ladies and gents. Welcome to another edition of the Good Bit Podcast. This is episode number 23 and it is history, ladies and gentlemen. Some would say magical, and I've literally just made that joke on the show, so you'll hear that joke twice, just like you'll hear this topic discussed twice on the Good Bit Podcast, because this is the very first two-part edition of the Good Bit Podcast as we celebrate one of the Good Bit's favourite movie franchises of all time, widely received as one of the best films to ever come out of the UK. That's right, you all know it, you all love it, and we're here to discuss it. It's the special Harry Potter two-part edition. And my name is Chris Moffat, I am your host, and I'm about to be joined by three huge Harry Potter marks. I was like the luckiest man in the world because I was joined by three gorgeous girls as we discussed a gorgeous film saga. This is part one of our special Harry Potter edition, and part two will be coming in 1 week's time. Normally what I like to do is release the podcasts every 2 weeks, but for this edition, since it's two of the same sort of thing, one will be released today, and the next part two, will be released 7 days from now. And what we're going to do in this particular episode, this part one, is we will discuss the first 4 Harry Potter films, and then in part two next week, the final 4 Harry Potter films. We will have references to things like Fantastic Beasts, to the extended universe, and of course the original J.K. Rowling Harry Potter books. And you'll hear very quickly on this show that the three beautiful girls that I'm joined by know so much more about this film than I do. I am a fan of Harry Potter and I've seen the films, but I am no way in shape or form a huge, nerd for Harry Potter. The three girls I'm joined with, they are indeed what I've just described as a Harry Potter nerd. They just talk absolute nonsense about Harry Potter for a good hour, and I just chime in with a few fun facts here and there, and my opinion, when I first watched the film and stuff like that. So I kind of guide you through it. But the three people that you hear talking are very, very knowledgeable in terms of the old HP saga. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I'd like to remind you all that you can support the show on Twitter by following at The Good Bit Pod, and follow me at CM42TV. You can also follow the show on Instagram at The Good Bit Pod. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/The Good Bit Podcast. You can get us on YouTube at youtube.com/CM42TV. And remember, 7 days from now will be part two, and we filmed this, a few weeks ago back in the summer, so a few references may be out of date, but I doubt it. But also this introduction I'm recording this on is on a brand new microphone. We recorded this on my old microphone, still good quality, but not maybe as good, I guess. But yeah, here we go. If you're a Harry Potter fan, please make sure you download this episode and the next episode, and tell a friend if they're also a Harry Potter fan, because all things fun facts, first experiences and thorough reviews of all Harry Potter films will be done on episodes 23 and 24. That's parts 1 and 2 of the Good Bit Podcast's very special Harry Potter special.
You just made the list!
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another very, very, very exciting, and some may say magical edition of the Good Bit Podcast. My name is Chris Moffat. I will be your host for this evening's show for the first ever two-part edition of the Good Bit Podcast. Part 1 will be right now, and in a week's time, exactly 7 days, I'll make sure of it, I hope, will be part 2 of the special Harry Potter edition of the Good Bit Podcast. I am Chris Moffat, as I said, and today I'm joined once again by returning Good Bit regular, Good Bit favourite, Leanne McMaster.
Wasn't sure if I was meant to say hi there, but hi!
Your nickname was Sexy Nips.
Ugh.
Feel free to change.
No, it's fine, I'll do it. They are sexy, I'll take it.
Okay, and what house will you be representing?
Hufflepuff. I would just like the fans to know that I'm actually part of Slytherin and Hufflepuff, but since we have a very strong Slytherin in the room, I will be taking part in Hufflepuff because we're excellent finders, and I like food.
Loyal.
Yeah, but they're also good
fun.
I
find
that very interesting.
And it started already. Also, returning to the show for the first time in over a year.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, Claudia
Wow.
Kelly is back.
It's okay, I'm going to count this as my first one because I wasn't really supposed to be on the last ones, and you can't really.
Well, the
hear what
last
I'm saying.
one you were on was about Midnight Special,
Oh,
which
don't even
was
talk
one of my
about that.
favourite movies of the year. And
No, it
you all
wasn't.
hated it.
Was it actually?
I
one
loved
of my
that
favourite-
movie, yeah. And
Yeah,
yous all
was it?
hated
That was in your top 10, wasn't it?
It was like
Oh, it was honourable mention.
Yeah. It didn't quite make the top 10, I mean, chill, but it was like...
Strange.
Yeah.
Strange.
I mean, it's no Zoolander.
Zoolander 2 on Ride Along 2 and all these other
Or
classics.
Triple Nine.
Triple Nine. I think I said that. I was like, my number one is Triple Nine. Yeah, so welcome back.
Hi.
I thought, since I knew and everybody else knows that you're such a huge Harry Potter fan,
Yeah.
I thought I'd get you back on the show.
Yeah, I was asked first.
Yeah, you were
obviously.
asked first, and I'm glad you're here. You're new to the show now, I guess, so you don't have a nickname.
No.
This is your time.
Oh wait, do I have to make up my own nickname?
Mason
I'm
said...
sure she didn't make up
I
Sexy
did.
Nips.
Well, no,
No, Michelle did actually.
I guess you just
obviously.
kind of you get deemed it because I think it's like you need to be you give someone a nickname to help people remember because there's so many new faces or new names
Faces.
and it's like it's a podcast I know but you know the way it's like it's easier to remember silly names, you go Ewan Ferguson, who's that? Dia Beethoven, oh it's him.
Oh, okay. You put me on the spot a bit.
I can come back to you.
I'll think of one.
Mason's nickname is Mason with no name or Mason with no nickname.
Okay.
Alison's nickname was Ali Bally B and the B's for Bowie.
Bowie, yeah. But the B for Bowie is not part of the nickname.
Yeah, it's just what you write. I'm the face that runs the place. So you can be anything you want.
Could be like Noodlehead or something.
Yeah.
No. No, I don't like that.
No.
Well, you like Sexy Nips, but you don't like Noodlehead.
Yeah. I didn't say I like sex. I'll stop talking now.
I used to
I'll
get
come
called
back
like
to you. I'll come back to you if you want.
Clouds or
Yeah.
something, but that's just more of an actual
Clouds.
nickname of my name.
We'll come back to you. Making her debut on the show. I'm sorry. What's your what house you part of?
I'm representing Gryffindor today. I'm not gonna say that.
She's
I'm-
also Hufflepuff.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like
These
we should
Harry
all
Potter
pick one
fans.
house.
Why can't it just be a definitive house? Do you know what I mean?
No, because you do that. You do the test. Like I've done the test so
But
many
if you-
times, and I am
exactly.
exactly like anytime I take the test. For every time I get Hufflepuff, I'll get Slytherin the next time. Like no joke, every time.
Yeah, I changed.
I think
everything.
I am more Gryffindor, so I'll be representing Gryffindor because I am brave. Brave.
Cool. This is going to be a rivalry then, because what a coincidence, we've got Hufflepuff and Gryffindor in the same room. Oh my god, what could possibly happen next? Also, joining us...
Hufflepuff and a Gryffindor.
No, just wait.
Wait, because
it was a thing.
that set up?
Claudia.
Is that-
Well
it's a-
done, you
yeah.
ruined it.
making her debut on the show, the only person in the world to ever beat me in a wrestling contest. Yes. Neve Barr is on the show.
Hi.
You were able to cleanly pin my shoulders to the mat for a 1, 2, 3 count, and I'll never forgive you for it.
Ha, yes.
And what house are you representing today, Neve?
I am Slytherin, obviously.
Oh my god, what are the odds? Oh my days, there's Slytherin here as well. That's quite funny. I'm a Ravenclaw, apparently.
No, you're not.
Stop touching the...
Not touching.
So you okay? How are you? Are you doing good today?
Sure.
You just had a good milkshake?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Now you have to come up with a nickname.
Well, I don't feel like I should have to come up with a nickname. It'll just work out for itself.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess by the end of the show, you guys will have one.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're more difficult for us. Yeah, so here we go. This is a special Harry Potter episode. I'm totally out of my element here. And I don't know who I've offended, but I've been surrounded here by huge Harry Potter fans. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Listen, we have to keep this somewhat structured, okay? Because remember, if I'm telling you
Good
these
luck
wee
with
things
that.
and stuff, and I'm reading out facts about the show and stuff,
I'd love if
about
you've
the
got
movies.
facts very wrong.
Yeah, I know. You're
I
gonna
love you'll be
scream at
like,
me.
so Harry
Wikipedia.
Potter is a girl.
You're screaming at me.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, well, it's not Wikipedia. It's IMDb.
Oh, wow.
So what we'll do is right. So I'll how I'm going to do this is I'll take you through each film. I'll guide you, and we'll try and keep it.
You'll guide us.
We'll try and keep it. Yeah, I'm not going to say much about the films because I'm not as big of a fan as you guys. This will be your outlet to express your thing. So remember, there's an audience. Yeah, so these are not like shouting at each other. Do you know what I mean? So if someone says something, don't get offended because it's for the listeners' benefit. Okay.
I'm sorry, but there's a Gryffindor here. I don't know whether
Good
I can
point.
keep that promise.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
I'm
fine.
Hufflepuff and friends with all.
I'm already a bit offended, so...
Don't fight me.
It's fine. What I'll do is I'll read through some synopsises and some facts about each film. I've got some fun facts. Synopsi. And I've got some fun facts about each film. and you guys can comment on.
I wonder
them,
how
stuff like
fun
that.
they'll be.
Well, probably not. They might be incorrect. We'll see.
It's like all those things. It's like 50 Harry Potter facts that will
You'll
blow
never
your
know.
mind. You'll never know. I'm like,
I know.
try me, honestly, try
I know,
me.
Claudia and I have. We just send each other like these things all the time, and we're like, "Yep, knew everything."
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes like there's facts, and you're like, "Actually, that is
That is not
incorrect."
true, yeah.
That's contradictory to what I've read before.
Yeah.
So
I don't know who
Wrong.
to believe.
Yeah. So the plan for this episode is we're going to do the first 4 films, and then in part 2 we're going to do the last 4 films, and we'll do a wee countdown in each episode. We'll also talk about what Harry Potter has meant to the 3 of you, and I guess me as well because I'm here.
you've only just watched all the films.
That was the next point I was going to make. You guys
It's
have
never
watched,
too late.
You
It
guys have,
still means something to him. If you've watched all the films, it means something to
yeah,
you.
and all you
Yeah.
guys have grew up with the films and stuff, and it's big parts of your life. I just watched the films over the last year and loved them all and stuff like that. But you guys are more fans than I am, so you guys can take control in this episode. But before we get started, just what has Harry Potter meant to you over the years? What? Give me some favourite stories and some favourite memories of being Harry Potter maniacs over the past years of your life. Leanne.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know how to sum it up.
When was the first time you watched Harry Potter? Was it when the first film came out in
Yes,
2001?
I've seen them all in the cinema.
Oh, did you? All of them? Mm-hmm. That's good.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could say that about something.
So did I.
Yeah, I've seen them all in the cinema because the first one was 2001. Yeah,
2001.
I was 5 years old. Oh,
Oh,
Christ. Well, youth.
yeah. So, did you go? So you were at the cinema and
Yeah, I
you
think-
came out thinking that was fucking brilliant, or?
Yeah, well, my mum read all the books to me,
Well,
and then
okay.
so that's why we saw the films. But I don't know. I just think that it's just always been quite a regular thing
Yeah.
in my life is Harry Potter. Like don't know how many times I've actually sat and done a marathon of them. Oh,
That's cool. Books or films?
both.
So you've read all the books as well?
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
Yeah.
So the last book
I love
came
the
out
books.
in 2007, I believe.
The first book came out the year I was born, actually.
Which
I
was?
think. Actually, no. Was it the year after I was born? Was it 96 or 7?
96, I think.
Yeah,
Hang
yeah,
on.
Year I was born.
The Philosopher's Stone was published on the 26th of June 1997.
Oh, so it was just after I was born.
Yeah. I wasn't born yet.
You were not born yet. It's older than
Wait,
you.
you weren't born then?
I was born on August 20th, 97.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you're an old
Yeah.
one.
Oh
I was
wow.
born the next year.
Oh my god, are you 98?
I'm 98.
Yeah.
Christ.
Is this a joke? I'm 95.
Wait, we got 95, 96, 97, 98.
Yeah.
Wow.
Demographics. So yeah.
Appealing to the masses.
So you came out of Philosopher's Stone knowing the story? Did you know the story before you saw the film?
I was 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I knew
Kinda,
it. But
is
my
it?
mum read them, like, because I remember my mum read them all to me. I think the first one I read on my own without my mum was Half-Blood Prince.
Nice.
Because how old was I?
You would have been 8 or something.
Yeah, that's the
9.
first one I read on my own.
Yeah. And they're big books.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
hefty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just always loved Harry Potter. It's just one of those things
Cool.
that you grow up with because obviously the books were all coming out and the movies started coming out when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
it's like you grow up with it.
Yeah, I think everybody's got that thing. Like everybody
Yeah.
grows up with something, you know, whether
Yeah.
it be Star Wars or football or wrestling or whatever it is. I said wrestling 'cause that's me.
Yeah.
Yes, that's cool. Claude, what do you think?
Well, I've already actually told the story on the podcast because Harry Potter was the first thing I ever saw in the cinema.
Nice.
So
But for new listeners, that's
that's
for you.
nice.
yeah, for
I
new
like that.
listeners. And it was in when Largs had a cinema. It wasn't really a cinema. It was like a pull down projector screen in
Okay.
the theatre, and then they had a projector. And I remember that the projector went wrong and it stopped. But me and I think it was my sister and my mum were the only people in the full like Barfield's like theatre, and it's like a proper theatre, not like a cinema. And obviously I was even younger than you, so I don't have like strong memories of it, but I've seen all the films as well in the cinema, and it's been part of my life growing up and stuff.
That's
Do
crazy.
you know one thing I remember is like the first time I can remember properly watching Philosopher's Stone was in Portugal getting my hair braided, and it was on like they had it on a tiny little TV, and it was like the Portuguese subtitles were underneath. I just always remember that, like getting my hair braided watching Harry Potter, and
That's funny.
I must have been. It was not long after it came out, so I was like 5 or 6 or something.
I find that fascinating when like you go to see the first instalment of a film. So, for example, like if in 1977, if you went to see Star Wars for the first time,
You've
and
got no clue.
you've no clue what you're going to see. So this kind of works. It's the same with like Jurassic Park, and it's the same with Star Trek, and it's the same with Harry Potter. It's like you don't know what you're going to see. The first thing you show up to is like the first day that the film comes out.
Yeah.
You're completely clueless, and you see, you know, the start of the film for the first time. I would love to. I mean, I don't know if there's any modern films that's going to happen with. But it's
Yeah,
the first of a
that is
huge
such
series,
a massive legacy.
You know, I guess the other one I could think of most recently is Guardians, but
Well, I was going to say maybe Hunger Games. For
Hunger
people.
Games is one.
Oh, for
yeah.
some people, yeah.
Yeah, you're just totally confused. What about you, Bar?
I'm pretty sure that the first time I can remember watching Harry Potter was in my house with my mum and my younger brother, and we watched The Chamber of Secrets.
Oh.
And I remember being absolutely terrified. I am scared of spiders, so Aragog
Yeah.
scared the bejesus out of me.
To this day, terrified.
Yeah.
To this day, he terrifies me. I really want to go see The Forbidden Forest though at the studios because Aragog is there.
See, he was there before, but before they had the Forbidden.
Yeah, but they had to move him.
Terrified me because I was walking along and I could see Buckbeak, and then
Yeah, because he's a
and then
possum.
I like go through the thing and I'm like, oh, Buckbeak's there, it's really nice. Then I look up and there's Aragog, and I actually shat
He's
my
like
pants
hanging
and I
above
ran.
you.
I was like, Mom, I'm like
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, I read something like Rupert Grint, who plays Ron,
Yeah.
still feels uncomfortable. He still hasn't watched the scene with the spider in that film.
It's
Because
so-
he's
they're
so
so
terrified
scary.
of spiders in real life.
But yeah, I remember that's the first time I remember watching them. But I grew up with the books and everything, and I was in America at the time when the last book came out.
Really?
So, well, at that point I was quite young, so I wasn't like, I really need this book. But my aunt and my cousin got them, so they've got the American copy of it. And I just remember like standing outside this bookshop. It was in New York, and just seeing all these people lined outside this bookshop, waiting there for ages to get this
Yeah.
copy of a
Do the
book.
party? I'd go to
That's great.
the release parties where you dress up.
Yeah.
I dress up as the Whomping Willow and Dolores Umbridge.
I saw the pictures of that. You showed me that.
I don't know if there's photos of me as Umbridge somewhere, but I won the competition both times.
Obviously, Harry Potter's huge here, probably bigger here than it is anywhere else in the world because of the obvious reasons,
Origins
and stuff like that. And but it's amazing that it's so big in other countries as well. Like, you can imagine this is huge in places like Japan and stuff like that, but you just don't think of that.
It's just fanatical everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I watched.
Yeah.
Did you watch that thing with Tom Felton in it?
No, I
about,
missed it.
like the fans and stuff, and just some people, the lengths that they
Yeah.
take
It's
it to, and you
just-
think you're a fan, and then some.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is like you think Chris thinks we're crazy fans, but we're normal.
We actually
I say I'm sitting in Harry Potter pajamas and Claudia's got a Harry Potter top on.
Yeah, on the floor.
There was actually a Harry Potter quiz that we went to not long ago.
Oh, yeah.
And that one guy who knew every single itty bitty fact. I thought that I was a huge fan, and then I
Yeah.
met him, and I was like, my god.
So, as people who are well knowledged on Harry Potter, why is it also referred to as Sorcerer's Stone?
My
As well as
mum
philosophies.
told me. I think my mum told me this could be very, very wrong.
Yeah.
But I remember I was saying to my mum, I was like, I think it's hilarious because I thought that it was just because Americans were idiots and that they didn't know what a philosopher was. But then my mum said, she told me that at the time it was all the books and the movies were coming out with Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone, there was something going on in America where philosopher was an offensive thing to say.
Oh, really?
Or something like that. That's what my mum told me.
Okay.
Could be very wrong.
Oh, because I thought it was your first answer,
Yeah.
and that to appeal to the American market, the publishers in America
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
that they wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I
I could
buy
be
it.
very
I
wrong.
thought it was a confusion with because it was the Philosopher's Stone, they got confused and they didn't know it was a wizard.
Yeah.
So they had to change it to
Also,
make it more
Sorcerer
marketable.
is more
Yeah, 'cause Sorcerer is
magicianable.
a-
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
more
so-
More
marketable.
magicianable.
Yeah, more marketable to the American market, because I
Yeah.
guess I don't know, it is dumbing it
Because
down
a
a wee bit, isn't
philosopher is
it?
kind of like
Yeah.
a thinker as well.
I know
Yeah.
they
Philosophy.
name it the Sorcerer's Stone, but do they still say Nicholas Flamel as a sorcerer, or do they call him a philosopher?
Oh, I don't know,
in
I'm
the
actually-
movie?
I've
I don't
got-
think I've ever seen the American version.
I've got American copies of the book because I bought.
There's American copies?
Yeah,
Because
well,
it's
yeah.
you need to change all the philosophers.
Because
to
they
sorcerers.
change
Wow.
and they'll
And
change like
That's too
bin
much
to
effort.
like garbage
bother.
and stuff like
And
that.
also like the spelling of some words because we add a U.
Yeah, to like colour and
Yeah.
things. No,
Weird.
I've got American copies of the book because there was really nice like copies where it was like Hogwarts is on the spine, and I've got them. But I didn't realise they were American until I got them, but I've not looked at it yet properly to see. But when I go home, I will.
Because I'm sure
check.
they've in the film they obviously filmed the actors saying philosopher and then saying
Yeah.
sorcerer.
Yeah. So J.K. Rowling, what a guy.
That is why she did JK and not Joanne.
Yeah, so because people
Oh, I
didn't like
see.
to buy from women. something like that.
Oh,
So,
really? That's very
yeah.
interesting.
So they would be more likely to buy a book if they thought it was by.
written by a
That's
man.
brilliant. That's a great fact. I like
but
that.
that's been happening for ages.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And she brought out that book that was under a pseudonym.
yeah. It's Robert Galbraith.
Galbraith. That's actually a really good book, and it got like a lot of acclaim before it was leaked that it was actually her that wrote it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, the first book was published on June 26th, 1997. She said that she came up with the idea for Harry Potter whilst on a busy train in 1990. So it took her a long time to write the book, but she's done well. And
She's doing alright.
then
She's doing okay.
she sold the rights to the first 4 books to Warner Brothers for nearly £2 million and demanded that the principal cast all be British.
I've got a fun fact about the first movie.
So have I, but go on.
Oh, sorry, no, you're the
No,
one.
do it. I mean,
Well, I was
not have
gonna
it.
say, that David Heyman, the producer for all the films, when he got given the book for, like, he got given Philosopher's Stone, it was put on a low priority shelf, and he just did not look at it. And then a secretary read it and thought it was amazing and gave it to him. And because he didn't like the title, he was like, "Oh no, I don't like that title at
Brilliant.
all."
That's great.
But then he read the book and was like, "I gotta make these films." Fun fact.
That's a fun fact. I don't have that one.
Also, it is all British
Yeah.
actors, but there is
Yeah.
an American actor in the first
Yeah.
one.
Principal cast.
Yeah, all the principal cast is British,
Yeah.
but there was an American actor.
So I think, what would you say? Would you say the films are better received than the books? Are they widely more?
No.
Or people prefer the books?
There's more depth in the books, I would say. They miss out a lot of, but that's
what happens.
It's gonna
That's
happen
what
anyway.
You've got
Yeah.
I
to
wouldn't
have
say
the
either
films.
is better received
No.
than the other.
Yeah, okay.
They're both very
they're
well
both-
received, but then you probably with the movies you've got those book people that just don't like them because they've.
Yeah.
But I quite like the fact, because usually when something this huge, a huge book series comes out and is adapted into a film, usually people will automatically say, "Oh, this is rubbish." But these films were really well received.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good adaptations.
They
Like
really
obviously
are.
it cut a lot and changed and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
they stayed true to the story.
Yeah.
Well,
I
there'll
think
be
I have-
people who have just read the books and refuse to see the films, and there'll be vice
Yeah.
versa as well. It's
Yeah.
like me, I've not read the books, but I've seen all the films. It's
Yeah,
weird.
You should read the books.
I should read the books.
will
Are you going to
read
read
I'm,
them?
I'm
before-
currently reading Philosopher's Stone now.
Oh, great!
Congratulations.
But I know what happens now. Do you know what I mean? Unless you just
No, but like, it's even funner sometimes reading it
Yeah.
after you've watched the film because then
Okay,
you're like,
cool.
"Oh my goodness, they've just missed that out," and then it gets better
Yeah.
as it goes on.
And the
because-
thing is, I think is because you've seen it, you'll be able to picture the books easier in your mind because
Yeah.
you've seen it.
and
in
not really with the
film
first
form.
one because the first one's quite small. Same with the second
Yeah.
one, but they start to miss out more and more stuff
Uh-huh.
as the books get
because
bigger.
they get so big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they do.
Cool.
Because is Order of the Phoenix not like
Yeah, it's
Well, I was in
huge.
Waterstones
Over
yesterday, and there
500
was
pages
loads
or
of,
something.
and they were all there.
or
Huge.
800. I can't remember. It's
Yeah.
big.
700.
It's big.
It's very big. So move on to the films now. So Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was released in cinemas on November 16th, 2001.
It's 2 days before my birthday.
What age were you? You would have just turned or turning
Just about
5.
to turn.
5.
Yeah, I would have, I would have turned
5.
4 earlier in the year. Directed by Chris Columbus, one of my favourite directors who also did Home Alone and
And
stuff like that.
Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
Yep.
On IMDb, it currently sits at a 7.5 and a 64 Metascore. In my opinion, this is the most fun Harry Potter film.
It's not, or it is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
For me.
it is, right.
It's the one that's full of wonder the most. It's full of fantasy, and I think I enjoyed watching this one more than anything else. Probably just because
It's the first
it's the
one.
first time I'd seen it. and
Yes,
stuff
because
like
you're
that.
getting introduced to the magic as Harry is as well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're seeing it through his eyes, like when they're going across to Hogwarts and it pans up
It's
and they're
beautiful.
and
It's just
you're
so
kind of have that
lovely.
like extreme wonderment that he would have had, and like every new thing, Diagon Alley that he like, that's all new to you as well.
I have to say, as soon as that opening music plays, I
Oh.
get teary.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly.
That's a good
feel
segue.
tears
Let's
in
talk
my
about the music. So John Williams, it doesn't do all the films, but he does the first 2.
I think so, but then I think they'd obviously still keep
They
a lot of
sample,
the
yeah.
score
Same soundtrack and stuff
because
like that.
it's just incredible. Like
It's just beautiful
lovely.
music.
So where does it rank as your favourite soundtracks?
Oh, it's
It's-
up
it's
there.
up
up
there,
there.
but
Yeah.
then John Williams
They're-
like
John
Yeah.
Williams does everything.
Recently
so good.
in Glasgow, they were showing the first one, but they
Yeah.
had the orchestra playing. They're showing the second one in December. I am so excited.
Oh, I want to go because I saw I knew
beautiful.
quite a lot of people at that, and I really wanted to go, but I just didn't have tickets.
I saw it and I was like, how are they going to do that? But the fact that they just showed the film with a live band is fucking brilliant.
It's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
amazing.
It's rated as one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, or greatest scores
I'd say
ever.
so,
It's up there
yeah.
with
Yeah.
Star Wars.
It's
and
just beautiful. It's just
Jurassic
really
Park and stuff, yeah.
lovely music.
lovely music. So in Philosopher's Stone, we meet Harry Potter for the first time, and he's serving as a sort of slave for his aunt and uncle.
Herself.
Yeah. And then
You.
he's snatched away from his mundane existence by Hagrid, the groundskeeper for Hogwarts, and is quickly thrown into a world completely foreign to both him and the viewer. Famous for an incident that happened at his birth, Harry makes friends easily at his new school, and he soon finds, however, that the wizarding world is far more dangerous for him than he would have imagined.
Ooh.
And he quickly learns that not all wizards are ones to be trusted.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what do you think of the first film then? Good introduction?
Excellent.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really
fab.
sets up the story.
Yeah. Is it one of the stronger ones, do you think?
For
Yeah,
me,
definitely,
yeah.
yeah. And it gets darker as it goes on, but this one's very...
It's whimsical.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be young
That's a
when
great
you
one.
start reading them, and it does get darker, but this one's just so full of like magic, and obviously
that's why I
it is
liked it.
dark and stuff like that, but at the same time it's still a kid's film,
Yeah.
and it's still
Yeah.
got all that.
Also, I think this is like when, because obviously it's the first movie, so this is when you're introduced to all these characters and stuff. But I think Philosopher's Stone, that's it. You've got like that's the best casting ever. I think
Yeah,
you're like
man.
it's one of the movies where you think like, oh, how have they actually cast that so well that these characters, you know, that they can carry on for another 7 films and they're
Yeah.
still perfectly fitted to that character, like Richard Harris.
Yeah. We'll talk about him. I have some fun facts about the film.
Woohoo!
Let's talk about Alan Rickman for a bit.
Yep.
We all love Alan Rickman,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yes,
Do
we do.
and I remember when we found
God
out that he
rest
passed
his
away.
soul.
Yeah, remember that we were in class. You guys were all,
No,
I
I'd
had to do-
already found out. I found out I was sitting at the train station and I was scrolling through Twitter.
That's right.
And then I saw it and I was like, no, no, that's not
Horrible.
real. That's got to be a fake. And then kept scrolling and found more and more. And then I could not help it and I just started crying. Could not help. Like there was just tears started rolling down my face. But I'd gasped when I went. And then started crying, and then about 2 seconds later there was a guy sitting 2 seats away from me. He did the exact same thing.
Oh, no.
And then we both just looked at each other like tears rolling down our faces, and we were like, it's okay.
Do you remember that day as well though? I had texted you like,
Yeah.
something bad is gonna happen today,
Yeah,
because I'd fallen over on the road in front of a bus,
yeah.
and like it was quite not right in front of a bus, but like I'd fallen over and like it was just embarrassing because it was quite busy
Yeah.
in the street, and I texted Leanne, I was like, I just fell over
Today
in front
is
of
a
a bus.
bad day.
Today's a bad day, something bad's gonna happen. And then like 5 minutes later I found Alan Rickman was dead, and I kind of felt a bit responsible, if I'm being honest.
You killed
I know.
Alan.
Claudia, you bitch.
I know. Oh, excuse
It
me, are we
was
allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yeah, it's explicit.
It's explicit now.
Oh wow.
Fuck, shit, wank.
I realised last night that I hadn't made the last 2 episodes explicit, and I was like, I'm going to do it last night.
Little
Um,
kids like, no.
Yeah. So Alan Rickman to you, Neve, and the
Oh.
character of Snape.
Oh, I was inconsolable. I was
Yeah.
inconsolable on the day that I found out that he had died.
It's just so funny because
I
we don't
was.
know him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
We don't know him as a person, but we've grown up with him.
He's one of your
Yeah.
favourite celebrities and characters.
Yeah,
and stuff,
he
I
plays a
just-
character in something that's just so important to you. So you're like, oh my god,
Nobody
he's
could have
gone.
played that better.
No, it was he was
Honestly.
Snape.
I
He is the
could
best
not-
part of those films.
Could not picture anyone else's Snape. I couldn't even if I
Like,
tried.
imagine if he just said no. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Who
Like,
would have played Snape?
Or I don't want to come back for the next film.
Well, that's it
Yeah.
because Emma Watson
I
almost
was,
did that.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah,
Apologies.
It's okay. No, that's good. They'll get it out of it. So it's like she was confused that whether she wants to come back to the films or not.
Yeah.
Who else could have played her?
That's the thing is that's what changed her mind is because
She wouldn't
was
want
like
to see it,
she was
yeah.
like I don't want to imagine seeing someone else playing Hermione
wouldn't
because
though, would
Hermione's
you?
my part.
You wouldn't want to see that. I'd be so angry when we did that small town scene.
Yeah.
And we saw someone else doing it. I was like, no, he's doing it so wrong.
Yeah.
Then again, now that Emma has done all the films, when she went to see the stage production and she met Hermione,
Yeah.
the girl who's playing Hermione now, she burst into tears. She was like, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that it's been passed on to this
Yeah.
Through
woman.
Emma.
and then
Emma
that's Hermione
Yeah.
at a different part of her life.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
what,
Yeah.
it's Hermione later on, so it's like
Yeah.
she's like, wow, that's my future.
Heavy stuff. So the fun fact I was going to say about Alan Rickman was that J.K. Rowling handpicked him to play the part of Snape,
Yeah.
and he received special instruction.
I was
from,
going to say
from
that.
her,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because she told him what's
How-
going to happen,
yeah.
so he
providing
knew
the
how to
actor
play
with
it.
vital details on Snape's backstory.
He was the only one that knew, and he had to
Yeah.
keep, like, I would just like explode if I had to get a secret
Well, I
like
was going to
that.
say, imagine having that power. And J.K.
No.
Rowling is the only person in the world, again, Alan Rickman to a certain extent, but she's the only person in the world who's going to see these films and knows what's going to happen. You know,
Like
If you
throughout
hadn't
the
seen
full
films, yeah.
story, yeah. Like in the first story,
Yeah.
she knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. So
In the last one, she had it all planned out.
I wonder what she thought when she was watching the films.
She probably loved them.
She loves them. Yeah.
Yeah.
She says that.
She had a big hand in the casting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
did she? Was she not? Did she not like start producing in the later films?
She was a producer for the last two, I think. Yeah.
Was she?
The
Yeah.
first one she produced was first.
Yeah, but you know she loves it. Like it's
Yeah.
her baby.
Yeah.
Like because I mean
I'm
she
sure
wrote the
she was-
screenplay for Fantastic Beasts. Like she wants
Yeah.
to keep it going, whether it's for money or whether it's just because these characters mean so much to her. Like she's keeping it going no matter what.
Yeah, but that she made so many like little stories about each character.
Yeah, the amount of
and
like because when you go into
backstories.
Pottermore with like all the different background
Yeah.
stories, and you're like, how has she created this? It's like it's the same with like Tolkien. Like how do they create these
Yeah,
worlds?
Game of Thrones and stuff.
Yeah, like they've
that.
just created brand new
Yeah.
worlds, and they've got all these tiny like little details.
tiny details
Uh-huh.
and details that don't even seem important at the time, like the snitch
Yeah,
in the first film, and then it's like such a huge thing by the last one.
yeah.
Speaking of casting, Robbie Coltrane was the first person ever to be cast.
Yeah, she said she had him in her mind when she was writing the
Yeah.
books.
I think he might be my favourite character, Hagrid.
Oh, Hagrid's so good.
Oh, Hagrid.
I love him.
Oh.
Sir Alec Guinness was considered to play Dumbledore,
Oh,
who plays Ben Kenobi in the original Star Wars
Yeah.
trilogy, but died shortly before filming began.
oh.
I wouldn't say no, but I don't see how anyone else could play Dumbledore.
Well,
Oh.
I know. Well,
Richard Harris is Dumbledore. Richard Harris
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
just
He was
it's,
Dumbledore.
It's the little sweetness of his
Yeah.
voice and just
It's
that
that
it's like
kind of twinkle in his
I was
eye.
going to ask which one you prefer.
I just
Richard
wish.
Harris was
Yeah,
Richard Harris.
I just wish that. Because I don't even know if he'd have been able to do it. You know, when Dumbledore brings it out and he's like an actual
I
badass.
think he could have.
Like he probably could have, but like I wish I could have seen
it.
that.
But,
Yeah,
like,
because
he-
like when Michael Gambon comes in the third one, like runs about, bustles about, and it's just
Aye.
like a bit
Because-
too high energy. Because then when he busts out, it's not as big a deal.
Yeah.
Dumbledore is old. Like
Oh,
he,
yeah.
he is
Yeah, but
old.
he's still powerful.
Yeah.
I think Richard Harris could have pulled that off. And also, in Goblet of Fire,
no,
what's
it's,
your name?
I've got it written down.
We'll just wait. We'll
We'll
wait
wait
for
for
that.
that. We'll wait for
I
that.
don't know what they're talking about, but we'll get there. Daniel Radcliffe learned that he won the role for Harry Potter whilst he was in the bath, which is a nice wee factoid.
There's something about him. He was at a play. He was seeing a play, and the casting director or somebody was at the play, and his mum and dad were like, "Go talk to him."
Because I'm pretty sure his mum and dad were some kind of influence. Like they were
Yeah.
just like normal people. They were in the business.
Yeah, I think so.
A question came up on a recent episode of The Good Bit from a listener that was, who would you have cast as the new Spider-Man if it wasn't Tom Holland? Who would you have cast as Harry Potter if you could change it?
Oh wow.
You had to. It couldn't be Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh wow.
Today's world.
Do we need to pick like somebody young, or could it be somebody old and then? We
That's
go
up to your
back
imagination. I'm going to shut the window.
De-age
Oh
them.
yeah, because there's someone making noises. Apologies.
Somebody's cutting the grass, I think.
It's the street cleaner.
Oh, it's a street cleaner. Sorry, guys. Oh, and then it has to be British, obviously. So,
Yeah,
do you have anyone in mind, Chris?
I've just thought of the question there.
I think Ross Brody from Rent.
Tom Hardy.
Oh.
Tom Hardy.
Where's Tom Hardy?
Who's Tom Hardy?
Wait, is that not Bane?
Bane.
Who's
I don't
Tom
know, I mean,
Hardy?
it was
I thought for a minute, then I was like, wait, Tom Holland?
It was just a question that I thought Tom Holland would be a good one.
I don't know. Maybe just let it stew for a bit.
Yeah.
I can't.
I need to think this through.
It's just a question. Don't let it distract you from the rest of the episode. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by 2002, by February 2002, was the second highest grossing film worldwide,
Woo!
behind the Titanic. By May 2002, it had earned £317 million.
I don't like Titanic.
I've never seen it.
I refuse to watch it. It's 4 hours long.
Is
No,
it?
it's not.
3.5 hours long.
Is
Fuck
it?
that.
It's a long film.
It's a good film.
Anyway,
I don't
Harry
like it.
Potter.
I know.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter's better.
And my final fun fact. Oh no, I've got another one. Warner Brothers originally considered making the entire Harry Potter series a set of computer animated films.
Yeah, because Spielberg was gonna direct, but he wanted to direct it as an animation with
What the hell?
the guy from Sixth Sense, you know, the one that's like, I see dead people. He wanted him to voice Harry, but then
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then he pulled out, so it was what it is.
Yeah.
Thank fuck.
I know.
or attempting to combine several of the novels into a single movie.
Christ.
The studio's reasoning mainly
that
had to
was-
do with the concern over the rapid ageing of the child actors if production ran too long, or if production had to be delayed between sequels, leading actors to may having to be recast.
Oh, you can't
I hate when
series
that
of
happens.
unfortunate events it. Like,
No.
no.
I
Oh,
hate when that
series of
happens.
unfortunate. I'm not even going to
I know.
No.
Oh yeah, we put three books in one. Like yeah, they're short books, but still,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. That's all my fun facts on Philosopher's
You
Stone.
couldn't have done
you-
that with Harry Potter.
You did
No.
well.
I've got 7 more films to go.
I know, but you've got off to a good start.
Yeah, I love Philosopher's Stone. That's my second favourite Harry Potter film.
Are you not going to save that for an
I
actual
know,
list?
excuse me.
That'll be in the next episode. Yeah, it's a great film. I love it. It's full of wonder, and it was the first time I've ever seen Harry Potter ever.
Yeah.
Recently, just under a year ago.
I mean, it's a good one to start. It's the beginning.
It's a good one to start with. But you know, I wish I'd saw it when I was younger. I can't
Or
believe
seen it in the cinema.
I
Or
can't
I'm sure
believe
they
I never-
probably do some sort
They
of
do,
cinema
yeah. They
thing.
no, because they not that long ago, Cineworld was showing all of the Harry
Yeah.
Potters. Fuck's sake,
I'm so
Claudia.
sorry. I touched the
It's-
wire.
Cineworld was showing like it was like every week they showed a new one. Like well, not a new one, but like then they
do
started.
that
a theatre
sometimes.
store.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, I want them to do it again because I kept missing it.
But it's not like these classic films that came out and you wish you saw them when you were younger. These were out when I was here. It's
Yeah,
on,
you just,
on
you
the
just
world.
didn't.
You just
That's
ignored
That's
them.
funny that you didn't. Like, why didn't you?
I don't know. You know, I saw
Is it just like maybe
Because
your
we're
parents?
wrestling.
Did your,
wrestling and
your parents just were like, oh no, he won't be
yeah, they
interested
weren't
in that.
really. My dad is, but they
Because
weren't
it's
really
definitely
cinema
our
goers.
parents that
Is
took
your
us to
sister
these
seen
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister loves them. Yeah.
The wrestling and the Star Wars were more you.
Wrestling, Star Wars, and
Oh, I love Star
all
Wars, but-
TV.
Yeah.
Like, I just
Yeah.
watched little movies.
I'd
when I
say
was
all this
younger.
stuff is in the same vein though, like Star Wars,
Star
Lord
Wars,
of the Rings,
Lord of the
Harry
Rings,
Potter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Big franchise.
Lord of the Rings is another one I've not been there.
Oh, you've got to.
Yeah.
You've
It's
got to.
I will. I've got the first
You
one
will.
recorded at home. I
Coming
know
soon.
You've got all the DVDs.
Coming
right
soon.
there. Honestly,
Lord of the
if
Rings
you,
episode.
If you do a Lord of the Rings episode, I am here.
Oh, you should
Get
get my little
Claudia's
brother as
brother.
well. He's got a
Cool.
one ring thing tattooed on him.
That is a cool tattoo.
I've always wanted it, then Connor got it.
Oh, damn
I
it,
mean, you
Connor.
can still get it.
I know, but it would be weird if we had matching
Aye, Connor.
tattoos.
Yeah,
Hi,
I
Connor.
I didn't really watch many films when I was younger. Like when I was younger, it was always
did.
Nickelodeon and Disney Channel
I watched everything.
and wrestling. That was
so
it.
many films.
The films I watched when I was younger was
Disney.
animated
Disney.
films,
Disney. So much Disney.
sports
Coming
films,
soon on the good bit.
Disney films. So yeah, anything else on Philosopher's Stone before we
No,
move
I
on?
think we can carry on.
Yeah. Out of 10, what would you give Philosopher's Stone?
10.
Obviously,
Like,
all
I've
of
got to
them.
give them all 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
There's
I
no.
know,
There's
Yeah.
I
no.
know.
There's not one where I'm like, I'm really disappointed with this film.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like,
Well, speaking of that, actually, my least favourite Harry Potter film is the next one.
Really?
I
Harry
think that
Potter.
no, that is a bit. That is
That's
like
a common-
general consensus.
But
you
that
wanna know the funny thing?
second one.
Chamber of Secrets is my favourite book. It's
Oh,
my
really?
favourite one.
it was a good.
It's the one I've read the most.
It's Daniel Radcliffe's favourite book as well.
Shut up, me and Daniel.
Honestly, you're like twins.
Honestly, I could have played Harry Potter.
Who would I recast? Leanne.
Actually.
Sexy nips. On November the 15th, 2002.
Oh,
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. McMaster.
it's close to my birthday.
On the 15th of November 2002, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was released in cinemas by Chris Columbus, again directing. It has a 7.4 IMDb average and a 63 Metascore. In this film, after being forced to spend his summer holidays with his muggle relations, Harry Potter gets a real shock when he gets a surprise visitor, Dobby the house elf.
I'm surprised what?
Visitor.
Visitor. Throw in a weird accent. A visitor. Dobby
A
the house
visitor.
elf. Who warns Harry against returning to Hogwarts, for terrible things are going to happen. Harry decides to ignore Dobby's warning and continues with his prearranged schedule, but at Hogwarts, strange and terrible things are indeed happening. The Chamber of Secrets has opened, and shit is about to go down.
Is that what happened?
That's the IMDb
I have
bio.
to say that this is actually one of my favourites. One of
Mine
my
too.
favourite films, but that's kind of for sentimental reasons because it was the first one that I remember
Yeah,
watching.
yeah.
Oh, really?
But also,
It's,
I just loved it.
I don't know if
loved
it
the
is like I
It's
can
the longest
understand.
one.
I can understand why people
Is it the
don't
longest
hold it
one?
to the same
That'll be why.
standard.
It's 2 hours and 41.
I don't know. I can understand why
Longest
people don't
5
hold it
minutes.
to the same standard as the other
book.
ones.
Yeah, I can understand that. I
But
just
still
love
good.
it.
Do you know what the thing though is like? This is like the first proper introduction to movie Jenny, and
Yeah.
she is one of the worst things
I
on
Oh,
this
yeah.
planet.
She
Yeah.
was so feisty and so strong in the book.
In the book, she's incredible, and you're like,
She's
I can
amazing.
understand why Harry would fall in love with her.
I
but
don't
then
understand.
movie Jenny, oh, I hate her.
Yeah,
I
she's
hate
annoying.
her. I
She
can't
was
stand her. I've got a
terrible.
list of my least favourite characters. She's on it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Least favourite characters.
film Ginny is just
It's
she
not-
did
she
not
just-
live up to the character.
I guess
doesn't
this
give it
was for the book
justice.
to film.
Yeah. No, I love Chamber of Secrets.
Though I loved the introduction to Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I love Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah. That hair.
That hair.
That glorious.
It was that thing about
glorious
that
hair.
that improvised line that Harry did.
Yeah, because
yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe forgot his lines.
It was
Yeah.
it was
Yes! I read that. I didn't write it down, but I know
You
what you're
did,
talking
yeah.
about.
there was the bit in the film where it's like Lucius and Harry in Dumbledore's office, and it was an improvised line because it's like, oh, I feel like we should say something here.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, let's hope that Harry Potter's always going to be around to save the day.
And
And
he
then
just
he was
kind
like,
of popped up. and
"Don't
said,
worry, I will be, or will." My bad.
but there's that, I think this is in this film as well. Oh yeah, there's Draco improvised a line, Tom Felton, because
Yeah.
it's when he's got his glasses on, Crabber Goyle, when they're changing from the Apologies Potion, and he forgot his line, he's like, I didn't know you could read. It's so good.
Love it.
Oh, is that one of your fun facts?
I don't know. No, it's not. More fun facts about Harry Potter. Well, not more. Fun facts about Chamber of Secrets. Eddie Redmayne auditioned for Tom Riddle.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Eddie Redmayne later
I've
went on
done
to
that.
star in Fantastic Beasts. Daniel
Tom
Rad-
Riddle, sexy in this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I fancied him a lot, and I
Yes.
was 6 years old.
He was my
Sexual
crush.
awakening. Tom Riddle, Chamber of Secrets.
You know it was Human Shrek. Shut up.
It was Human Shrek, actually.
Human Shrek.
No, I'm sorry. Sidetrack from Harry Potter for one quick second.
Human
Is,
Shrek.
is Human Shrek not one of the most sexiest animations you've ever seen in your life?
If you don't go, I'm handsome.
Well, he is.
I'm a stallion, baby.
I'm a stallion, babe. Anyway, back to Harry Potter.
But yeah, Tom Riddle was
Damn.
Damn.
Damn. Anyway, Harry Potter is really an idiot in this one. Like, he's
Oh,
really
he
fucking
really
stupid.
was.
Like, when the barrier closed, instead of being like, no, I'll just wait until my parents... Ron's parents... Oh, whoops.
Oh.
He doesn't have parents.
Too soon.
Wait until Ron's parents come back. No,
Oh.
I'll take the flying car and fly it in front of everyone.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he's just an idiot.
They're donuts.
Honest-
And then I'll
Honestly.
just write in this diary. That seems normal.
They
That
would-
it's talking back to me.
They would not survive without Hermione.
Can
I
I-
can.
No.
My
Yeah,
dad
without
says
a
that all the time.
Without a doubt.
My dad says that Hermione is the Artu of Harry Potter.
Can I just say though, Harry is a fanny, like an absolute
He
idiot.
really is.
Like, because obviously, what
Harry,
Claudius just said
you're a fan.
about the car, but it's like this. Does he not spend the full movie being like, it's Malfoy, it's Malfoy, it's
Yeah.
got to be Malfoy, and then in every other
He
story,
spends every movie thinking it's
every
Malfoy.
book, every film, it's Malfoy or it's Snape, and it is never Malfoy and Snape until
Oh, no, yeah.
until Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
and that. But
Then
then
it's
And he's like,
but
"Ah!"
there's no point. But everyone's
both
like,
of them.
we're not going to believe you because
The
you
boy
cry
that
every
cried,
time.
the boy that cried Malfoy.
or Snape.
But it's like, it's Malfoy, it's Snape, it's no, it's not. And
You're
then
like,
Half-Blood Prince
Harry.
is both of them.
Yeah.
Kind of,
But
yeah.
no one
And then
believes
it's
him
not.
because he's called for everyone every time. He's always like, "It's Malfoy, it's Snape." I'll tell you. No, it's fucking not Harry.
Which is why when it comes to like the curse and stuff in Half-Blood Prince is like, you're being an idiot, it's not Draco, it's not Malfoy, it's not him, and then it turns out that it is.
I
Yeah,
thought out there that Harry Potter is not one of my least favourite characters in Harry Potter.
he's not one of your
No,
least
yes,
favorites.
one of my least favourites.
He's
Like,
a lot. Do you know what? A lot of
in the
people
books, he's the worst thing about it. I'm like, stop moaning, Harry. Like,
That's
please
You
just get
fucking
grumpy. You're
idiot.
yeah, he's the
Harry
worst
Potter
thing about
is
it.
never the favourite character
No,
in
for
Harry
sure.
Potter.
Oh,
He's
for goodness
never the
sake, no, he's
favourite.
so annoying. Like, anyway.
Anyway, Daniel will love you, but geez, he said,
Oh, also, the first... I do love these two movies. The acting by some of the kids is
Oh,
questionable at best sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
mean,
when
the
you
acting-
rewatch it, it's like, I'm a what? It's some of the acting. Apart from Rupert Grint, he's always
Yeah.
been stellar.
questionable at best.
Yeah, honestly.
When we get to the third film, yeah, there's a little character who's like a piece of gold in that film. Like a tiny character.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to
We
that
will
But
later.
yeah, their acting does get better.
Yeah. Do you know what though? I kind of disagree. I think the acting, to be honest, right? We're doing a podcast.
Oh yeah,
here.
no, sorry. It's very information.
I think genuinely the acting from Daniel Radcliffe, sometimes Emma, never really Rupert, but to be honest, the acting's just not great. But
No.
it's the only people that could do it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not great acting, but it's the character.
Do you know what my dad?
They
Do
did
you know-
get better throughout the films.
I disagree.
Do you know what my dad said? My dad said that Daniel Radcliffe is a good actor, but not a very good Harry Potter.
Oh,
That's
actually, do you know
interesting.
what? I agree.
Well done,
I
James.
agree, James.
Well done, James.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because
He's actually quite good.
in all his other films, like, I think he's really good. But then as Harry Potter, I'm
But also-
not as convinced as I should be.
Can we say Emma Watson is a good Hermione, but not a very good actor?
Yeah.
Very true. Very
Honestly,
true.
She's just one of the most
Boring.
bland,
Yes.
Yeah.
boring things. But
Belle-
I love her so much, but she's just
I
so
loved
bland.
the new Beauty and the Beast, but that's because
She was the worst thing about it.
I love Beauty and the Beast, and I would love it no matter what. However, she was Hermione, and Emma Watson, she was not Belle.
No.
I thought
Can
she
I
was
just
good, but
say,
yeah, she was Hermione.
Rupert Grint, excellent actor, but cannot pick good films to act in.
Yes.
Because see, since Harry Potter, he's had like a couple
Although
alright films.
He's been on the stage.
Well, that's okay then.
He's been on
Well
like
done,
Broadway,
Rupert.
so well done, you, Rupert.
Well, so's Harry. Harry's done fucking everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. He's such
Yeah.
a good actor, and he's been on Broadway.
He was
and
excellent.
Warhorse
He
and
was
stuff
excellent
like
on
that.
Broadway and How to Succeed in Business Without Really
But
Trying.
Rupert
Emma-
Grint has just like always been a good actor.
Emma
like,
Watson
he was the
isn't-
best out of the three of them.
She isn't the best actress, but she is
A
a genius. She's a very
So
informed.
smart.
She's a very informed person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, Joel, keep going.
Um,
Try to
Daniel
get this.
Radcliffe said that Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is his favourite book.
Yo, big up.
What?
Big up. Yeah, man. During post-production, producer David Heyman went to visit Richard Harris in the hospital. Though he was very weak from his illness, Harris insisted that the role of Dumbledore not be recast. Sadly, Harris passed away shortly before production was to begin on the next film, necessitating a recast. Let the waterworks begin.
Honestly,
That,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yeah, that's really sad.
he's just.
And he didn't even want that part, but his granddaughter made
Yeah,
him.
his granddaughter was like, I
I'm not
won't
gonna talk
talk
to
to you
you
if you don't do it. And he's
And
like,
who was the
"Alright,
actor that took the part?
Michael
Michael
Gambon.
Gambon.
Ugh.
then."
well,
No,
No, he
No,
did
but,
well,
like-
but he wasn't as good.
no.
Do you want to know though? He's what made me hate Dumbledore. Dumbledore is my favourite character as Richard Harris.
Yeah.
Dumbledore as
Jeez.
Michael Gambon. No.
Maybe that's it.
There was something.
You're not Richard.
Something cocky about him.
Yeah, there was something about him in each film. I was like, I don't know what it is.
It's okay,
You're
we'll
not
keep going.
Richard.
I don't know what it was about him, but he just
Yeah.
there was something irritating.
There was something
and
just like
It just wasn't him.
confrontational.
cocky about him, and
Yeah.
like Dumbledore's not supposed to love himself, but
Like
Michael Gambon does.
confrontational as well. He was too aggressive in some points, as we will discuss in the fourth film.
Oh yes, the
I love
dreaded
the
line
foreshadowing here.
The line that
that
We'll
everybody
get there.
talks
We'll
about.
get
We'll
there.
get there.
Yeah.
we'll get there.
In the UK, Chamber of Secrets became the first movie to achieve 1 million DVD sales in its first weekend.
Oh, I helped them.
At least half, honestly.
I was at least half of those.
Um,
Actually, do you know what? I've got Harry Potter Philosopher's Stone on video.
I think so do I.
I've got the
Nice.
I've got it when it first came out on DVD there, when it's
I
like the
respect
cardboard,
you.
Yeah,
the
I've got
cardboard box and all that. But
Yeah.
I've got it on video. I think I might have. We definitely had Chamber of Secrets, but whether we still do.
I think I had it on video as well, but I don't think we've got them both on video anymore.
And one of my favourite fun facts of the whole series, Daniel Radcliffe was required to shave his leg for the scene where Harry reveals he's missing a sock. He's not like, oh my god, shave your leg! So,
Why though? Is it because boys
It's
that
because
age
he's supposed to
don't-
be like 12, but he's got like the leg of Ewan.
Does he?
I don't know.
so yeah, he was told to shave his leg apparently. So there you
That's
go, that's
hilarious.
Chamber of Secrets.
That's what Ewan's gonna have to do for every acting job he ever gets.
Also-
Shave your leg,
Shout
and
out-
your back, and your crack.
Shout out to Dia Beethoven. Hope you're doing good.
He was
you.
also supposed to wear contact lenses because
Yeah,
famously he has green eyes
Oh
in the book.
god,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's
But
such
they
a faff in the
did
movie.
they like irritate his
Oh,
eyes or something
that-
like that? So he could.
You've got your mother's eyes. Your eyes are blue. Your mum comes in. She's got bright green eyes. Or
Oh, yeah,
something.
also-
So, and then
Or is
the
it the other
little,
way round?
then the little girl that played Lily
like
has
brown
brown
eyes.
eyes.
Could
Yeah,
they
that
not have
was
just found? Because they could have found a little ginger actress that had the same. Because they could have just
Yeah.
based it on Daniel Radcliffe's eyes in the
Yeah.
film rather than
Go back to the mum.
yeah, just oh.
We'll see little details like that. Would you be angry if they changed little details like that from the books? They've
Well,
got
they did
different
fuck
eyes.
up,
or-
so that
Well,
did.
they
add
did.
Well, no, it
up.
didn't matter. It didn't really matter that Harry didn't have green eyes. But then for them to say you've got your mother's eyes, they should have cast an
Because-
actress or
With
with,
green eyes.
with
Because
Daniel
that's-
Radcliffe's eyes.
That's what,
Yeah.
like, throughout the full film, anytime someone meets Harry, you've got your mother's eyes, and he's like, yeah, I know, I've got my mother's eyes. And then you
Like,
see his
everyone
mum
says
comes
that.
into it, she's got brown eyes, he's got blue eyes. It's just, not quite right.
No, you don't. You don't have your mother's eyes.
No, but
Ryan.
you've got your eyes.
He
That is
doesn't, he
it.
doesn't even look like the dad.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't
But,
like even look
I
like
couldn't
the
think of
dad.
that.
She comes in as this little odd ginger, brown-eyed, floppy mess. I don't like her. I'm
don't-
over it.
yeah, okay.
I'm over you, Lily.
Okay, we're halfway
Staples.
done. We're halfway done in this episode, so we're going to take a little break, and we're going to talk about our top 5. Fuck's sake. Got me confused.
Pull yourself together, man.
Damn it! Right, we're going to do our top 3 favourite Harry Potter films. Is that right?
Yeah, well
Nailed.
done. Nailed it. First
did it.
time.
We're going to go around everybody, and we're going to do
I think we should start with Christopher.
the one that's not prepared the list. Okay, yeah. My top 3 favourite Harry Potter films. Number 3, Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
My number 2, Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
My favourite Harry Potter film, Prisoner of Azkaban.
That's a
Honestly,
that's
because-
a lot of people's favourites.
Is that okay?
Can I just say something? That's my list.
Boom! Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
I'm
Shut up,
sorry,
really?
That's my list.
That's so funny.
In exactly
just
that
made that up
order.
then.
I'd say
No,
that's,
wait.
I'd say that's quite a
Maybe-
common favourite.
Maybe I would switch. I would do 3, the Philosopher's Stone, 2, Prisoner of Azkaban, and 1 Part 2.
Really?
Yeah, I think my dad likes
Ah,
Part 2
that's
his favourite.
interesting.
Leanne,
Mine.
you can do
my-
top 5 if you want.
No, that's
you
fine. I'll do
prepared
3. My number 3 is Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
My number.
Controversial.
Yeah, I know. The thing is though, I feel like my list is controversial because I think because a lot of people's favourites are like Prisoner of Azkaban.
Prisoner of
Prisoner
Azkaban.
Prisoner of Azkaban!
You're bad.
Harry Potter!
I am Sirius Black, the Prisoner of Azkaban. I feel like a lot of
Take
people's
away to
favourites.
Azkaban prison!
I feel like everyone, I'd say a majority of people's favourite is like Prisoner of Azkaban, but that's not in my top 3.
Oh,
I'd say
oh.
Half-Blood Prince annoyed me because it left out so
Do you know
much
what?
stuff
I
in
think
the book.
Half-Blood Prince, like, did I say earlier, like, that was the first one I read on my own,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
book-wise. So then when the film came, I was like, oh my god, this is like the
Okay,
one.
yeah, okay.
So I was just really excited for it, and I really liked the whole premise of I thought it was a really funny one.
Yeah, it was.
See-
the pizzas.
It's when
Yeah.
they go to the cupboard to pick up the potion books, and obviously like the Half-Blood
Yeah.
Prince one's there, and it's like they both like look at each other and then they like pounce. Like I always thought
And
that
it's
was
got the whole
hilarious.
lavender thing.
Yeah, Lavender who's now white.
Yeah.
Lavender,
Recast.
Lavender Brown
You
is
Whitewashing.
Painter.
Lavender. Oh god, Lavender Brown who is
It was black in
black,
the first.
black for the first all films, and then suddenly she's white in that
Yeah.
one. But anyway,
that annoys
so
me, that's why I
number
started to
3,
do
number 3, Half-Blood Prince. Number 2, Chamber of Secrets.
Ooh.
Again, because the book and all that, and I think Gilderoy Lockhart. I cannot stand him, but it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
It is brilliant.
And then number 1, Philosopher's Stone.
Nice.
Because that is the one that introduces you to
Yeah.
the magic, and it's
Yeah.
the one I've definitely watched more than anything.
Totally understandable.
Because I think I've watched that about 1,000 billion times.
Neve.
Did you not prepare a list?
Well, I had a top 5.
Well, now
Do
just,
it.
Just do your
'cause
3 then.
cut off your 5 and 4.
No, but then
You
it
can't do
changes
that,
it.
yeah.
It changes it.
Do it. Just do top 5.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Top
Just
5.
ruin it for everyone.
Come in here.
Deathly Hallows Part 2. And then
Is
So
your
it's
number 5?
it's my 5.
5.
It's my number 5.
Honestly.
Keep going.
and then it's Philosopher's Stone.
Yep.
Half-Blood Prince.
Yep.
Chamber of Secrets.
Wee.
Oh.
And then Prisoner of Azkaban.
That's it.
Nice.
Prisoner of Azkaban. It's all your faves. Prisoner of Azkaban is Azkaban.
That's a good segue into our next section. We have
Wait, yeah, but
Prisoner
before,
of... Oh,
before we
sorry.
do,
No, it's not.
Azkaban.
Oh yeah, it is.
before we,
Prisoner of Azkaban.
before we do,
Sorry, I was
before
trying
we
to
get
take
on to
over.
Prisoner of Azkaban,
Azkaban.
have you got nicknames yet?
Oh, I forgot. I forgot to let it stew.
We got sidetracked by all the amazing fun facts.
Oh, I'm sweating. It's really hot in here.
Is it got to be a
The
play on
seconds.
our name?
No, because mine's
'Cause I used-
sexy nips.
Because I used to get called Claudike.
Because you're a big dyke.
Yeah.
I probably don't do that because I probably wouldn't type that.
Okay.
Edit that out because I just said dyke on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twice.
I will start. I used.
And back in the room.
I just said dyke on the air twice.
You just said it a third time. Calm
Edited.
down, man. You could be sitting editing this later, just be like,
Well, I was thinking that. I was like, I hope it runs smoothly because I can't be bothered listening to it again. Fucked. Right, okay. Right, Cods, do you need more time?
Yeah,
Just a
cut
fun
all
name.
this
Where's to
out.
call you?
Curly Sue.
Curly Sue.
Do you like that?
Curly
Yeah,
Sue.
man, whatever.
Right, I thought of one, guys. It's Curly Sue.
Curly Sue. Why?
Did the poo.
Because I have really curly hair. I'm sure we'll put up a
Curly Sue.
photo or something.
Claude's yeah, Neve.
Neville.
Probably Neville.
Neville.
Nice.
Neville.
I like it. Like it.
Neville. Harry Potter.
Nev.
And also, my name's Neve, so
Nev.
it works.
Wow, I love it when you have to explain jokes.
Is that a joke? You think it's some kind of a joke?
This is not a joke.
This is no joke.
It's Harry Potter.
Yeah,
This
okay.
is life.
Nice segue before.
Sorry, I'll do it again. That was a nice little segue into Harry Potter, the Prisoner of Azkaban. I know, I did it on purpose. God, you're ruining my joke.
May 31st, 2004.
What?
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban was released into cinemas, directed by Alfonso Could Be Anything.
Cuarón.
This is the
Corona.
first one that's not released in November.
Yes, which is crazy because then they need to wait longer. So Harry Potter fans would have been.
Yeah, this is
Itching.
because this was the first with because it was 2004 because you got in 2002, 2004.
I would have liked it if they'd stick to 2003 because it's the third film, you know. But whatever. As Harry becomes more content with using magic outside of school, he soon learns that a dangerous criminal and Voldemort's trusted aide, Sirius Black, has escaped from the Azkaban prison, and he wants to kill Harry to avenge the Dark Lord. To worsen the conditions for Harry, vile creatures called Dementors are appointed to guard the school gates and explicitly happen to have the most horrible effect on Harry. Little does he know that by the end of the year, many holes from his past, whatever he knows of it, will be filled up and he will have a clearer vision of what the future has in store.
Can I just come in? You know how you said he's got more comfortable with using magic outside of school?
Yeah.
You're not
Why-
allowed to.
No, yeah, also, yeah, why would they gloss over something like that in the
Yeah.
movie when he's using a spell? And then it also happens in this.
But he said that like they've said that before. They've opened up that premise. You're not allowed to do magic outside.
magic.
Let me start again. You're not allowed to do magic outside of school. They set up that premise in the first few films
I think that's a bugbear for a lot of people that
Yeah.
they just put that in for.
because characters had said that to Harry before. Like Hagrid said it in the
it's a
first
rule.
one.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a rule
it's a
of
rule.
Hogwarts.
Because then they're like, oh, you can't do things outside Hogwarts, and then Hermione comes along, she's like, Oculus repair it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, that's no right, Hermione, you can't do that. You've broken
You're going to ask about it.
because then Harry,
You're saying
because
that
then
you don't break rules and then you just did
because
that there.
in the later films, Harry gets in a lot of trouble for doing magic outside of Hogwarts.
I know, but Hermione doesn't. Hermione is just a special case. Everyone loves Hermione.
I mean, she is a special case, as this movie shows, because she gets very special treatment.
She
Yeah,
really
she
does.
She's
Anyway.
the favourite. This has a 7.8 IMDb score and an 82 Metascore. This is the best Harry Potter film in my opinion.
I think
Yeah.
it is the most pivotal, and it takes
it was
It's
a
a
very
turning
dark.
point.
It was a style
Turn-
change as well.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
with
completely.
Alfonso coming on.
Oh, he was sexy Alfonso. honestly.
It was a
Such a
turning
sexy
point.
name as well, isn't it?
It was a turning point in the story. It was quite a big.
Yeah, it was a turning point in the books, and for them to go completely different from Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, I can
is
very clearly
like,
remember seeing this in the cinema and being like, oh my god, this
a whole
is scary.
like tone change, even with the colours
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
the.
It's a really beautiful film.
everything.
It's a
Honestly,
beautiful film.
the way the camera moves and stuff.
And they
like
always
that.
do like there was so many like really nice shots of like
And the
like maybe
introduction-
like Dementors like floating along and like the
and the whole
icy
like
and all
yeah,
that.
the time aspect, like going through the clock and
Yeah.
really,
That's
And
really
the,
sick.
good.
the introduction of the Marauders.
Yeah.
You can't.
The
The
Marauders.
Shut up.
The Marauders and Prisoner of Azkaban.
It's really
The
cool.
Marauders.
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 Herbie and back in the room.
3, 2, 1, back in the room.
It's the introduction of the Marauders.
Oh God's sake.
The one that begins with an M.
The introduction of
Oh my god! Here, it's on my leg.
The Marauders.
The
the
Marauders.
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 The introduction
Mooney,
of
Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs.
the introduction of the
Right, the Marauders. It's really nice because it introduces them.
Them.
You're not really sure
Yeah,
what
exactly.
is going on.
And who
That's what I'm
are
trying to
they?
say.
Who are they?
I don't know, let's ask Neve.
that. That's what I was trying to say. It's really lovely how they go back to that. I really want them to make a film about them. Just
Yeah,
about their
Ooh.
story.
Because they missed out a lot of the story
yeah.
of their story.
I really love their story.
I'd love a series.
Yeah,
like a TV series.
Ooh,
I really love
Netflix.
their stories.
I love time travel and things like that. I'm a huge Back to the Future fan and a huge even Star Wars fan and things like that, Star Trek, things like that, where time travel is key. It isn't necessarily like a DeLorean in this film, but the fact that you reference other parts of films later on and reference themselves within the same saga, I don't know why that interests me so much, but I love it so much when even in TV series when they look back at old seasons and stuff, they reference themselves. I love it. That's my favourite part about this
What I
film.
like about that is you think the film's over and then
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember being in the cinema because I'm like, oh, that's it, film's done. Bugbeak steed. Like,
and then
the series
they
is
just
fucked.
they just repeat everything.
And then they fix it. They just
also
fix it.
introduction of Lupin,
Yes.
who is one
And Sirius.
and Sirius, both honestly
We're the Marauders.
the Marauders.
Can I just say, what annoys me so much is that when Sirius comes into it and Lupin comes into it, like Harry suddenly thinks he's got these two father figures or these two like male figures that he's never had before.
Yeah.
What annoys me about this is he has had that because Arthur Weasley and
Exactly.
Molly Weasley
Yeah.
they basically take him
And
in.
Hagrid.
Fucking Hagrid.
Dumbledore.
Well, no, Hagrid.
I guess because Hagrid doesn't have that connection to his past.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Hagrid does have it because he's the one that takes Harry from.
No, I know, but
meets it
I
from
don't with
Wickham
his
Hall.
parents.
But does Harry?
The whole thing is that Sirius knew his dad, so they were friends when they,
They
were
were best
younger.
friends.
Yeah,
I
but
get
Hagrid,
that.
Hagrid knew them too.
But they were
Hagrid knew them too.
It's a new connection to the past for him.
yeah.
I know, but it just
So
annoys
his
me when everyone's like,
parents,
"Oh
his
my god,
dad,
Harry had
do you know
these
what I mean?
amazing father figures," and I'm like, he had them already.
Okay.
He did.
This is one of my favourite facts about the whole series as well. In order to acquaint himself with the three lead actors, the director had each of them write an essay
Oh, I
about
love
their
this
characters
film.
Yeah.
from a first person point of view. Emma Watson, in true Hermione fashion, went a little overboard and wrote a 16-page essay. Daniel Radcliffe wrote a simple 1-page summary, and Rupert Grint never turned us in. That's brilliant.
It's so much like their characters.
Yeah.
And I'd like that more if he didn't turn it in on purpose.
He didn't.
Unless he's just forgotten.
He
but
didn't
I-
turn. No, he didn't turn it in because Ron wouldn't turn it in.
Brilliant, that's great. A clause in the director's contract forbade him from cursing in front of kids on set, something I probably should do in the good bit. Aware of his fondness for music, Gary Oldman presented Daniel Radcliffe with a bass guitar as a gift when they met. Gary Oldman, what a man.
Yeah.
I love him.
I love him. He's
So
brilliant.
good. Such a good actor.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's a great part of this film and one of the best characters in the whole saga.
He looks so young as Sirius. I always thought, like, and then I saw him
Yeah.
in like with it, Batman, and I was like, "You're old.
He's
You're
so
older
good
than I
in
thought."
Batman. He's so
Oh,
good as Batman.
you're beautiful.
actually got grey
Wait,
hair.
you're
Yeah.
older.
Yeah, I know. I got really
Okay.
confused because I saw him in a film and I was like, "Why is this man 83?"
Gary Oldman says that he accepted the role for Sirius because he needed the work. As he hadn't acted in over a year, he took time off to be with his family. His last film was Sin, which I've not seen. And he also took the role to please his son, and this part made Oldman a hero with them and their schoolmates.
Do you know what's funny? His name's Oldsman because he looks like an old man.
Good one.
Banter is
Bomba.
also like-
Escobar.
Escobar.
My favourite, like, not on screen, like a kind of extras bit was
Yeah.
when they're all sleeping in the Great Hall in
Yeah.
the
Oh,
sleeping
yeah.
bags, and then Michael Gambon and Alan Rickman put like a fart
Yeah.
button in Daniel Radcliffe's sleeping bag,
Yeah.
because
he's
apparently
lying
we
next
slept
to a
next to a
girl,
girl that
yeah.
you
Slept
fancied.
next
I was reading that as well, and I was like, that's funny. Filming was halted following the vandalism of the train.
Oh, good God.
Who would vandalise the Hogwarts Express?
Bastards.
Bastards, whoever it was. J.K. Rowling said she got goosebumps when she saw several moments of the film as they inadvertently referred to events in the final 2 books, and she said that people are going to start looking back on this film to think that those were put in deliberately as clues when they weren't.
Oh.
Yeah. Now you're going to watch the film and go like, ooh.
Yeah, I know. Low-key, like, I want to do a marathon and now.
Yeah. First film in the franchise to have rainy scenes at Hogwarts. Never rains at Hogwarts. M.
Does all
Night
the time,
M. Night Shyamalan
Shamalama ding dong.
was offered the job to direct the film but turned it down in favour of The Village.
Yeah, I quite like that film.
Why would you turn down Harry Potter?
But then
Well, I mean,
also,
it's
I
good
do
that
not
you
want M. Night Shyamalan to
He's a
direct
weird
Harry
director.
Potter.
He's weird.
They just added in some weird twist at the end.
And guys, hang on a second. Are we all sitting down?
Yeah.
This is the last film in the franchise to be dubbed in Icelandic.
Really?
How rude.
dare they?
How rude?
Why?
I don't know.
I'm in shock.
Those poor people.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now they just have to do it with subtitles.
It's just so sad.
Yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban. There you go. What a film.
Yeah.
Anything else to say on Harry Potter 3?
Do you know what?
Prisoner of Azkaban. Love it so much. I love Gary Oldman, but there's this one character.
Oh, yes.
There's just one small, tiny part, and it's the guy who's in the class. He's like in nearly every scene. If you watch the film, you're like, there he is, and he's the one who is in the divination classroom.
Yeah, and the one that reads all the stuff out. Yeah, brilliant. Love him.
Love him. He's in every single scene. Don't know where he came from. Don't know where he went.
Don't know who he is.
But
He just wandered on set.
Yeah, it's the
But
little black
honestly-
guy, isn't it?
Yeah, but honestly, in every scene, in the background, you can see him. We had a drinking game in my family.
Yeah.
When we were watching that film, me, my cousin, my mum, my aunt, and we were watching that film, and we drank every time we saw him on screen.
Got very, very drunk.
Yes, we did.
Also, there's that fun fact about when Hermione slapped Tom Felton.
Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
he asked
brilliant.
her to practice, and she proper smacked
Belted
him
him.
right across the face, and he was like, I didn't mean for you to actually properly
No, she punches him, doesn't she?
in the film. But I think what I was talking
Yeah.
about was that
Oh, right.
before, and he
That's
asked her to
right.
practice, and
Oh,
she
right.
scalped him
Ah.
straight across the cheek.
That's
You're
funny.
right,
I love
Bob.
that. That punch was one of the best moments in the Phil franchise.
It really is.
So I'm pretty
Love
sure
it.
Hermione or Emma Watson used to fancy.
She
Tom
did. She
Felton.
fancied
did.
Tom Felton.
I
Yeah.
think Hermione would punch someone instead of slap them.
Yeah, she
did
does in the
fun-
film.
Yeah.
She's
But it's I like the bit where it's Harry and Hermione have just gone back in time, and they're about to go down, and then they see themselves ahead, and she's like, "Oh, is that what I look like from behind?"
Yeah, brilliant. I love that bit. Yeah, great film.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite.
That is brilliant.
films. And now moving on to Harry Potter 4. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire was released on November 18th.
My 9th birthday.
Is that where you went for your birthday party?
No,
You should have.
I know.
2005. Directed by Mike Newell.
Oh right. Can I just say
Nobody mentioned this as part of their shop.
it's in mine. I think it's my number 5. It's my number 5. But can I just say this movie has the moment that makes me cry more than anything in the full franchise. And do you know what it is? No.
Cedric?
No, it's not right. So obviously everybody knows Cedric Diggory dies, and it's not the fact that he's died.
It's the dad.
It's
It's his
Amos.
dad,
It's Amos
yeah.
Diggory.
Yeah.
Just the way he's
My
like my boy.
Yeah, it's so raw.
My boy. Oh,
That is
Yeah.
the hardest part to watch in the Phil's franchise for me. It just
Yeah.
kills me every time.
It was such an actual raw reaction. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm crying. It was like
Like genuine
guttural,
like the
from the
wailing.
heart. Yeah.
It's horrible, especially because Cedric was the pride and joy of Amos Diggory. Like you've never
Yeah.
met someone so proud of their son than you have Amos Diggory, and then he loses it as a wee boy. Like I wasn't a massive fan of Cedric, but I mean he's on my wall right now. But that moment is the worst part for me. I
I gotta say
think.
though, this is one of my at the bottom. Like it's not one of my favourites.
Oh, really?
Not one of the ones that I kind of think about when I think about.
But
Dumbledore.
I think it's time to discuss the line.
The Dumbledore
Oh
line.
yeah, that we've been alluding to.
Go on then.
Yeah. In the book,
Should we all just take
I love
different
this.
parts of the
I'm
story?
going to sit back.
Said
Go.
Dumbledore calmly.
when Harry's name is revealed to be in the Goblet of Fire, and he gets sent to the side, and in the film, Michael Gambon, will someone please?
Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
In the book,
Runs up to him like, "Hey, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?"
in the book, it says said calmly.
Yeah,
did you
and
put
do
your
you know what
name
just
in the
breaks
Goblet
my
of
heart is because you can just imagine Richard Harris's sweet little Irish lilt being like, Harry.
Well,
Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
that could have been a direction.
No, but it could have
I'm
been.
sure it was,
I'm
but
sure,
yeah.
but I don't give
But
a
no.
shit.
Mike Newell, who also directed Donnie Brasco and Prince of Persia.
I think that
Fun fact, sure, Phil.
Ah, yes.
this film made me lose some respect for
Yeah.
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I was like, I
Yeah.
don't feel the same way about you anymore. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to part ways.
Yeah, no, and it's literally, and it's not.
But I never feel like that in the book. I'm always like,
No, I'm
Yeah,
like,
you
oh,
always like Dumbledore in the books, but in the movies, and I feel bad because Michael Gambon had big shoes to fill, but
Yeah.
he just didn't
didn't.
film.
No.
In my opinion, and
Give the guy a break.
no, he was good. He is
He did
good.
good.
He
Yeah.
has done well, but he's just not
I know
the
people that
Dumbledore.
prefer him.
I know. I think my
Yeah.
yeah. I think yeah.
They're wrong. I mean,
they're definitely wrong, and they're not real fans, obviously.
I mean, it's your
Say
opinion,
no.
but your opinion's
Because
wrong.
Richard Harris was Dumbledore.
Yeah.
He was Dumbledore from the books. He was the Dumbledore that we knew from the books. Michael Gambon was like a cheap imitation.
yeah, a little bit of a Tesco value.
Yeah, like you got Richard Harris, who was like an M&S meal deal.
Oh yeah.
But then Richard, but then
can I put it out there? Waitrose.
fuck me up, man.
I know.
That's pricey. Yeah,
I
you've
know.
got Richard Harris as your Waitrose, and then you've got Michael Gambon as like Poundland.
Oh, I wouldn't quite
That's
go
a bit
Poundland.
hard.
No, I
I'd go Tesco value.
No, Tesco.
Morrison's own.
Morrison. No, actually, do you know what? Morrison's is
Asda
delightful.
price. What's Asda? Asda
about
price?
Aldi?
Asda Smart.
Aldi's cheap.
Aldi's good though.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Actually,
Lidl.
he's the sandwiches you get when you go to a little corner shop.
Oh.
Yeah, I said it.
Aslo.
But can some
You
things
really
be life
hate
saving?
Michael Gambon.
I don't hate him. It's just not Richard Harris.
He's there when you really need him, but he's not what you want.
It's not what you're wanting. Yeah, like you're walking home pissed. Everywhere else is closed. You'll go to the corner shop. You'll buy one of those sandwiches if you need to, but you don't
And
really
it'll-
want
You do
to.
need to.
It'll do the job. It does the
but
job.
it's not what you wanted.
But it's
you wanted
it's
a
not
curry,
Waitrose.
No. Also, I
Guys,
totally
insane.
forgot David Tennant's in this film.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
and,
is
this
it?
was-
David Tennant.
and it was just before he started being the Doctor, because I
Yeah.
remember watching it
Nobody really knew.
at my friend Cara's birthday party. Actually,
Shout out to Cara.
Shout out to Cara. They had it on a projector. We played this film, obviously illegally because it was not out. And David Tennant was there, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, that's the new Doctor!" And I remember being like, "Who is he?"
Yeah.
But yeah.
It
He's
was good
hot.
though.
Also,
Enjoyed
can
it.
I just say, so this is obviously also the introduction of Mad Eye Moody,
Oh yeah.
and obviously Harry gets quite close with Moody throughout
Yeah.
this,
I got
but
this as well.
but it gets close with Moody throughout this, but it's not Moody, it
Yes.
is
Barty Crouch Jr.
Barty Crouch Jr. But then, you know, people kind of forget that wasn't actually Moody for that full time.
And then he's
Yeah.
close
and then,
with him.
and
in
then
the next...
suddenly in the next couple films, like, you know, Harry and Moody are best pals, and you're like, you don't know Moody. You actually do not know him. You saved him from a little box, but you actually don't know him.
And you didn't actually save him from the little box.
Yeah.
It was the teachers that did
Yeah,
that.
you did fuck all, Harry.
You almost got killed.
Well
That's all
done,
you
ruining
did.
the franchise again.
Harry, for fuck's sake!
You killed Cedric, you got Voldemort back, and now you don't even save Moody, you fucking idiot.
Honestly.
And all of a sudden you're best pals with him. What's up with you?
It's all a lie, it's a sham, and I'm done with it.
Also, this is the film where Ron and Harry fall out.
Oh
What-
yeah.
every
Oh, I
film.
didn't like
Every
that.
I am
film.
not an owl!
Every
Hermione.
every film. I can't.
Yeah, she's like, Hagrid said to Hagrid
Also,
to
she's
tell you-
saying, no, but like she says it all to Harry, and then as soon as Harry wants to relay a message, she's like, I'm not an owl. Like, you did it for Ron.
That's because she wants to pump him.
True, though.
Just saying.
Just saying that Hermione wants to pump him.
I
Okay.
find it interesting that J.K. Rowling was actually considering Harry and Hermione together.
No.
She also considered Ron dying.
No, but she also
a bitch.
considered Hermione and Fred
Yeah.
or George. One of them.
One of them.
Both.
One of the twins.
What's that
It
one?
was Fred.
Hermione.
I always got
It's Fred.
confused
It's
there.
Fred, yeah.
What?
Like, are they supposed to be twins or not?
Well, yeah, the
Yeah.
They're supposed to be twins!
Or did they just cast two actors that look similar?
No,
They
they're
are
twins.
twins.
I know, I'm joking.
No, they do it. They have a joke where they say like, "We met at the audition," but they're twins.
Oh, yeah, that's
It
good.
was the bit where it was like an interview like ages ago, and they were asking what book you would bring with you on like a desert island, and some of them were like, "Oh,
Or how to build a raft.
Harry Potter," and some of them were like,
Oh
Pride and
yeah, Ginny
Prejudice."
says The Great Gatsby. Fuck off, Ginny.
But then one of the twins, I can't remember which one, said how to build a raft.
Genius.
That's
So
brilliant.
much like his character.
They are their cat.
They are their characters. they
Actually,
are
do
the
you know what
twins.
I love is the twins got the copies of the book before the book came out. No, the copies of this. They got the copies of something before it was like out
Released.
properly released, and they were on a train, and the ticket person or the trolley person or whoever came along was like, "Do you want anything?" But the twin was crying because he'd just read that he died. And he's sitting there and he's like, "I'm sorry, can I have a moment because I've just died."
But also, like when they first got cast, they went up to the director and said, "All right, which one's which?" It's like, "Ha, you're really funny." It's like, "No, honestly, we don't know
Gee,
which.
yeah.
We don't know which one's playing
Genuinely
which."
not sure.
Yeah, I don't think they even knew throughout the
I think
film.
they just went for... No, because I think they said that they swapped, and then it got found out and they had to reshoot, and they got in a lot of trouble. 'cause
Really?
they thought it'd be funny.
And
I
then
don't think they
also-
did it for a lot of scenes, but like I think it was just in the Great Holly Switch, and then they had to reshoot it because they're like,
Oh, that's funny.
And I was reading about from the last film where obviously
rest in peace.
rest in peace.
The
R.I.P.
incident.
Well, I mean, I've said it.
Yeah, well,
You actually get... I thought you had a cross necklace on. And you were dancing it.
right.
Carry on.
Well, they were doing the whole bit where one of them's lying dead, and
I know.
they were doing this scene, and all of a sudden they shouted cut because obviously the scene was they finished filming it,
Yeah.
but that he just kept crying and crying and crying because he went up and gave him a huge hug, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I just couldn't imagine you being
Did
dead."
they not do it? That
It's horrible.
they didn't know that they were filming that scene. That they were gonna walk. Like he was walking up to see him dead.
Yeah,
So
he
they
didn't
brought in all the family members, and they were like they all came in to film it, but like they didn't know.
Yeah, they didn't know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And then then once they were finished shooting, he was still crying. He was like, I was just picturing you being dead, and I couldn't. So they were just both sitting there crying and sobbing.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
It's a really horrible scene to watch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about Goblet of Fire for ages, but we've never actually covered anything about it.
Yeah,
It's
we haven't actually.
7.7 IMDb, 81 Metascore. In one of the first takes of Hermione's Cinderella moment, Emma Watson accidentally tripped in that fancy dress and fell down the stairs. Mike Newell was not aware that Alan Rickman wore black contact lenses for the role of Snape until one day when he was complimenting Alan on the amazing shade of his eyes, Alan leaned over and popped out one of his contact lenses. That would be horrible, wouldn't it? Just say, oh my god.
You've
Snape-
got such beautiful eyes. 1 minute.
Beautiful black eyes you've got.
We have to recast him, he's lost an eye.
Did you see you with?
Daniel Radcliffe suffered 2 ear infections filming the underwater scenes.
Ooh, I've got to say that's bad. I suffer from the ear infections
Yeah,
sometimes.
don't like it. Don't like an ear
They're
infection.
awful.
Over 3,000 girls turned up at the auditions for the role of Cho Chang
Cho Chang.
in London on
Oh
February
my
7th.
God.
2004.
Can I just say
Cho
Tim
Chang's
Pam-
boring as fuck.
2 pumpkin pasties, please? Favourite line.
Oh, is that hard? Is that the
Yeah.
Scottish one?
2 pumpkin pasties, please. Oh,
She's
worst.
just so boring.
I'm sorry, Harry.
Emma Watson wearing a ball gown. This is nonsense. But it says Emma Watson wearing a ball gown foreshadows the 2007 remake of Beauty and the Beast, where Emma Watson, who plays Belle, also wears a gown.
Right, who wrote
What a fact.
that? Who wrote
Brilliant.
that? That does not foreshadow anything. It's not the same.
She wore clothes earlier in the film, and that foreshadows to other films that she
Yeah,
did
in
later.
2005 she knew that she was playing Belle. That's why she wore a ball gown. Mike Newell only received $1 million to direct this film, whereas Chris Columbus received $10 million plus a percentage of the gross to direct Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So basically they're saying, Chris Columbus, you're a big name, you get all the money. Mike, no.
Fucking hell.
What a shame.
Didn't they change? They changed the colour of Hermione's dress, didn't they?
Yeah, the dress in the book's blue.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad. Don't go there.
They changed it to pink. But the thing is, the dress is beautiful.
Yeah,
it was
it is
beautiful.
beautiful.
It's a beautiful dress.
And the final
I really
fun
wanted
fact
that dress for prom.
for Goblet of Fire and this episode is this is the first film in the series that is not dubbed in Icelandic.
Shocking.
So that's the end of that.
It's an outrage, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have to say, I really wanted Hermione's dress for prom.
Yeah.
I really wanted Hermione's dress.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone, this year's prom was a few days ago, I'm sure someone turned up wearing a Hermione dress.
Also, that we didn't even talk about it, but the
Okay.
introduction of Ralph Fiennes
Yes!
Oh, yeah.
Talk about that and then we'll close this episode.
as Voldemort.
Yeah, I started talking about the end of the film.
I know. We forgot about Voldemort, the most pivotal, like the best introduction, like to a villain ever. He is
Amazing.
incredible
He's one of 7 actors to play Voldemort.
and the best,
The best.
the best.
Amazing. I love that whole scene in the cemetery where he's just kind of mocking Harry. It's like, you should bow.
Yeah,
He's
and I'm
like,
pretty
"I
sure
can touch
J.K.
you now."
Rowling was like, I want him. It's nice that you can just pick your actors
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they're going to say yes, all these greats. Also, it's so lucky for the kids to grow up being taught by these
Yeah.
Amazing.
Maggie Smith,
Crazy.
Alan Rickman, all these like Ralph Fiennes.
I don't think Emma Watson
Robbie
learned
Coltrane.
much.
Oh! You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Shady over here.
I thought
I
we liked
love
Emma
it.
Watson on this
I
show.
No, we do like Emma
I
Watson.
love Emma Watson, but she's not the best actress. And
Yeah.
growing up around all these great names, great actors, she didn't.
You'd think she'd
she
pick
has-
up something.
Yeah,
I mean, she probably picked up something.
she
She's still
didn't
getting
pick up
movies.
much.
Christ.
Sorry, Emma.
Sorry, Em.
Sorry, Em, I know
Don't
you're
worry.
such big fans of the Good Bit.
Yeah. Well, that'll do us for part 1 of the Harry Potter special. Join us next week for part number 2, where we cover the final 4 films. And then we do our top 5 favourite Harry Potter characters. It's going to be good fun. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to leave a comment, leave a rating on iTunes, and tell a friend about the show. And you can also support the show by following on Twitter at The Good Bit Pod. And there is exclusive stuff on YouTube, CM42 TV. There's lots of stuff on Facebook and Instagram, which is at The Good Bit Pod as well. And yeah, this has been part 1. From me, Chris Moffat, this has been Niamh Bally, Anne McMaster, Claudia Kelly, and I promise in the next episode they will all have nicknames. Until part 2, thanks very much for listening to The Good Bit. Recognise.
Bye!
Bye.